Today I want to share some of my real experiences, some of the things that I have lived and seen for myself in my narcissistic relationship with my ex-husband that I was together with for 21 years, as we met when I was 15. I will not go into any religious interpretations of the events. I just want to present what actually happened. And if you have experienced something similar, it might help you to trust in those experiences. I know that there are a lot of commonalities among survivors of narcissistic abuse. And if you have not experienced it, perhaps you can just listen anyway. Give it a chance and see what you think, because this is what really happened. I was together with my ex-husband for 21 years. And during that time, the abuse and manipulation was increasing. So it became more intense and more frequent, and the good behavior that he showed in the beginning, that in the end disappeared completely. And that is the common pattern in the abusive relationships and relationships that are dominated by coercive control. The abuse and the control increases. But even though that happened to me, but I also saw something else in him, and that was an increase in the darkness that was within him. In the beginning of the relationship, he could still do some kind acts, and to an extent I think that was a show, because he was a bit well off financially and he wanted to show off and show that he was a good person. But it was more than that. It was like when things didn't go for him as he had expected, then he became more bitter, and he had more anger inside of him towards the world, not only towards me, but towards the world. And he started to think more destructive thoughts and wish ill upon people. And he also had, in the end, thoughts about harming me and the kids. And what I saw as well, like from being this kind of promising guy, over the years, his growth was stunted, so he did not develop, he did not learn or create. It became more, his mind became more narrow, and there was no forward progress. So he was not in tune with, the life force. The life wants to grow and evolve and improve things, but he did not have that drive. And he even talked in the end about how he regretted having children. He wished that they would sterilize themselves in the future, so that there would be no grandkids. So, like, he wanted his lineage not to continue. It was very scary to hear, but it also shows the state of his mind. If things can't be good for me, then let everything be destroyed, sort of attitude. And I've seen this not only in my ex-husband, but in other narcissists, especially malignant ones as well. It's like their fuse gets shorter. Their ability to tolerate things going not their way gets shorter, and the intensity of their anger and their ill wish, and it's like they sharpen it. So it was very sad to see him sort of get consumed by that darkness, and he told me that he was struggling with dark thoughts, and I could see that he was struggling. So he would pace back and forth. I could see that he was anxious, and it was like there was some small part of him still resisting it. So he would confide in me sometimes that, like the things that were on his mind. So I got the feeling that he was in a struggle with this dark force, and he was gradually losing ground. That was my impression. Yeah, and as I said, I have seen it in others as well. The goodness shrinks away, like any goodness that was there gradually shrinks away as they are not cultivating that. They're becoming used to the evil behavior that they are doing. They're becoming numb to it, so they can cross over the moral boundaries even more. So they are becoming more malignant as they age. And something that I have also seen in two of them that I've known quite well is that their appearance changes so that you can, especially in still photos, if you go back through photos, because they usually, when they get a bit older, they don't like to be on camera, so they avoid the camera. But if you manage to have a photo of them and you look a bit closer, their face looks evil. It looks for example, have a photo of my ex-husband. It was a few years before the separation, and I took the photo on our daughter's birthday. So I'm holding the camera and he's looking towards me. And when I look at his eyes, and like he has a small smile, but his eyes look really hateful. So it's a hateful glare towards me as I'm taking this photo. Very creepy and disturbing. I think that is their inner feeling showing through. When there is a still photo, you can see what they were feeling in that moment, and there were no warm feeling towards me. Another thing that I have noticed, and we come now into a bit of a controversial subject, and as I am posting this video, I'm planning to post it on Friday, and I will actually be in court facing my ex-husband. So I will come into why I'm choosing to talk about this topic now, because this side of things have really been bothering me lately. And this is the sleep. This is, to me, it feels like a bit of a supernatural phenomenon. When we first moved in together, I began to experience something that's called sleep paralysis. But it never happened when he was in the apartment. It only happened when I was by myself. It was incredibly scary, and at first I didn't know the word for it. I thought that the apartment might have been haunted, even though I didn't believe in ghosts. So when I would fall asleep, I would wake up, and there would be this dark being in the room, and I wouldn't be able to move. And I would get really scared. And this is called sleep paralysis. What is weird about it is that sleep paralysis usually doesn't start in adulthood. So this started around 20 years, when I was 20 years of age. Usually it starts in children, but I had not experienced it before we moved in together. And then it was gone for several years. But the phenomenon returned after the separation. First, it was very, very intense nightmares where I could feel his thoughts and his hatred towards me. So I was dreaming that I was inside of his head, and that he had found us and that he was harming me. So it was very vivid dreams and very disturbing, and it could be explained as CPTSD, even though I never had dreams like that before. But then later, like during the first year when we moved, later also the sleep paralysis phenomenon returned. And in one of the it was very, very intense at this period, and it was the same period where he was looking for us. And I got the feeling that this phenomenon, that like this dark shape, is my husband searching for us. And now I said that we would not get religious, but I did try to say the name of Jesus, and then the shadow would, I will struggle to say it because I couldn't talk, but then it would retreat, but then it would come back. And it kept on like that for several months until one night where this phenomenon came over me. So it was both the sleep paralysis and the nightmares. Some nights it would be the paralysis, and then it would be the horrible nightmares. And as I was starting to break the mental bond with my ex-husband, the nightmare shifted. So I started to fight back and defend myself, and I started to flee from him in the nightmares, and I started to stand my ground. And then the content in the nightmares shifted as I was healing. And then it came to this. So the sleep paralysis stopped completely one night when I was sleeping, and then it came over me, and I felt this dark shadow approaching. And then it was like I screamed in my soul. I can't explain it, but I was awake. I was not talking out loud, but it was like my soul was resisting and screaming to this thing that you have no right to be here. I belong to God. And I hadn't planned to say that, so it was something that came from inside of me. And then it disappeared, and I hadn't had this sleep paralysis since then. But now, before the trial, that is, it will be in a week from now. So I'm having intense nightmares again, and dreaming about him. And I think that there's still some connection there. So this is my thought about it. It might be that it is a CPTSD and that I'm wrong. It's hard to explain it, but I'm just sharing with you what I have experienced. So my feeling about it is that when he is intensely focusing on me, then I get these nightmares, sort of experiencing what he is thinking about. And like during different periods when he have been really hateful, then the nightmares have been very violent. And when he has been more anxious and self-destructive, they have been in a different way, like he is searching for compassion from me, and like the dreams shift. So this is my feeling that it's some sort of connection where I get a view of where he is mentally. So I believe that my ex-husband had a connection with something darker, a dark force, and somehow that also gave him the ability to affect my sleep, as he was trying to oppress me or get power over me. Now, is there a good force to counter that? Yes, and I have experienced that as well. So I will share a few of the really actually amazing things that I experienced during this time that convinced me that, yes, there is a good force and it is watching over us. And when we align ourselves with that, when we are serving life and goodness, not in a self-aggrandizing way and not in a like following certain rules kind of way, but really searching for it, searching for truth, and then we do get aid and we do experience amazing things. So when I'm sharing this, I don't benefit from sharing this online. It actually could harm my like professional reputation, and but why am I sharing this? Well, because it is the truth of what I experienced. So I have no ulterior motives other than doing it as a service to the good force that helped me. First of all, during the relationship, I did get comfort and warnings. One time we had an argument and my husband disappeared, and I did get a warning, like a really clear sensation that he is planning to burn the apartment down. But then I did get the very clear sensation that it will not happen tonight, so you can sleep and you are watched over. And that feeling filled me with peace, and I was actually able to fall asleep. And so this was not something that he had said to me ever before, that he was planning to burn the apartment down. But a few days afterwards, when we had made up, then he said to me that when we had that argument, I was actually sitting down in the basement and thinking about lighting the apartment on fire. So that feeling that I got was correct, but also that peaceful feeling that it will not happen. When I was leaving him, I also got, so I did not plan to leave the day that I did, but I had this feeling in the morning that I need to go. And it was a perfect timing, so everything, even though it was very, very hard and it was very difficult during many months and years even, it worked out like in a better way than I could have planned for myself. So we are safe and I have full custody over my kids. And I was able to untangle myself financially from this man. So a lot of things worked out for me. But the clearest period where I really felt this protective force and guidance was after we got a protected identity and moved the first time. I had a warning dream. So I dreamt in the night that my ex-husband he had found us, and he caught one of our kids on their way home from school. And I hadn't dreamt about him for months. And because I took this warning dream seriously, I went to pick them up early, and then one of my kids told me that we saw our father. And later, like 2 days later, I did see him myself. So he was really there. And I was able to get us out of there. Pretty quickly, I borrowed my brother's mobile home. And we went, before I was able to get another apartment, we drove around a bit, and I wasn't sure exactly where we were going. And during this period where I was actually feeling quite lost and alone, I got help in so many ways. So first of all, the apartment, that's another story, but I was able to get in some money when I had none, like when I was at my last krona. One time, like in the middle of nowhere, on a forest road, I got stuck with one of the tires in a ditch, and I prayed for help, because eventually I got so desperate that I didn't know what to do. And then a man appeared with his son, and they had a wire. They were able to pull the mobile home out of the ditch. So that was amazing, because we were in the middle of the nowhere. I hadn't seen a car for a long time. What else? Well, there were small instances when I got help, like exactly when I needed something, I got it. So during that period where I was going through the worst, most scary time, I got a lot of help, so much that I was certain that I'm not alone. Yeah, and the same thing happened the other move when my car broke. This is a true story. I was going. I had a little accident because there were two reindeers running out on the road. It was winter time, and then I got stuck in the snow, like on the side of the road, the snow. We got helped out, but then afterwards my car was broken. There was something wrong in the car. So the meter, it was blinking, and the meter didn't work, so it couldn't measure how fast we were going. And I thought I need to take it to get it fixed, and I didn't have the money for that. So the next day, when it was still broke, I prayed over the car, and then I started it, and then it worked fine. So I know it sounds a bit out there, but these were things that actually happened to me. You're free to interpret them as you wish and put them in the context of what you have experienced. So I'm not asking you to believe in anything that you have not seen yourself. But I am certain that there is an evil drive, but the good force is much more powerful. And that evil force actually, aligning with it, made my ex-husband decay and become very bitter and weak. And he might have tried to scare me in different ways, but I was able to get away, and I was protected. So there is something out there watching for us, and there is a life force that is positive and loving and is helping us forward. So sharing that feels like an important part of the message for this channel, Light Over the Bridge. Thank you for listening. You're welcome to write in the comments what you think. Have you experienced something similar? I'm Emma, holding up light over the bridge. See you in the next video.